Hi, this is Cousin Russ. Uh, I have for a long time have been dealing with a data error report, a feature in Family Tree Maker 2017, and I am now back working on my original master file, and and I haven't worked on that file for a couple years, but in the meantime, I've worked on other files, and I have discovered that I need to have a routine review of the data that comes from the data error report. I haven't looked at it before. So this first of two, probably, uh, items on the data error report, I'm going to um, share with you how I manage all of the data from the data error report, and hopefully we'll describe why I do that in the meantime as I go along. Now I'm going to bring Family Tree Maker over here so you can see it. And I'm in the plan workspace where I like to start off. But now I'm going to go to the publish workspace, the person report, and the data error report. And I'm going to create that report. Now, in the data error report, there's an item, and let me resize this screen a little bit because I don't need all of that. In this report, there is a pull down menu of items that are checked for consistency and errors. And what you see behind the window is the report that's been generated. It's got 14 pages on it, and that's short. Um, what I have done is going through each and every one of these items, error report by error report. And that's how what I have done over the past couple days. Each of the items I have individually selected so I know who's got each one of these error reports. Now I created a cheat sheet, which I'll bring over here. It's in Notepad, and it has all of the error reports in text, what the error report is, like this one. That's an error report that I can generate in that checklist, but the error message says this. And I'll tell you why I do that here in a minute. But for grins and giggles, I am going to include all the error reports. But I'm going to uncheck the birth date and marriage date is missing because I know that I'm missing just tons of them. That's okay. I'm not going to deal with them at the moment. What I am concerned is all of the other error messages that that Family Tree Maker will find for me. So I've selected all. I unchecked the birth date is missing and the marriage date is missing, and I'm clicking OK. So it is now generating that list of error messages. And I went through each one by one, and we'll see what I get. I'm going to expect to get about 18 pages of data error reports. That's a lot of error reports, errors in my database. But I'm going to let this continue, and you can stop it and make changes at any point in time. You don't have to wait for the report to generate, as I just showed you when I selected all and removed the check marks. Right now, I have 18 pages of errors. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's realistic. It's real errors that Family Tree Maker believes to be in error, and I believe Family Tree Maker. Now, one of the things about this error message, and this error message, by the way, is in that notepad file that I have. If I double click on the name, it will bring up the information that I have on that person. Now, the first part of my data error management report is to get this information that's in the potential error into a place where I can work with it. I'm not going to work off of the report. So I created, and let me bring this back up. I created a fact called data error report, and I'm going to do one here in a minute. But there's a fact called data error report. It's marked private, so I'm the only one that can see that error. Now, I had all individuals checked, but I'm going to get down and select individuals, but I'm going to include all. So I'm still going to get the same 1,200 plus people in the report, and it'll generate 18 pages. So I've showed two different ways of getting everybody analyzed. But I did something else. What I wanted to be able to do is find out, I did a lot of work. I didn't clean anything up, but I want to make sure that I got all of the data errors that were in the report. Now, this is showing all of them, but did I get everybody? So I have this, but I selected the individuals to include, and I'm going to filter out all facts. I'm going to filter out everybody who already has the data error fact. Any data exists. So what this says is everybody who has a data error fact already is going to be excluded from the list that I'm going to see when the report is next generated. You saw that it lost probably 1,000 people. I'm down to 1,100 plus. So I'm going to click apply. So what this should do is reduce the number of pages down to people who I still have a data error report that I have not made a fact for. Now, if I did my homework ahead of time correctly, I should only have one. But while I was there, in fact, there's none. Now, there's an item here called include only preferred facts. I'm going to guess that that may in fact be the reason why somebody didn't show up. The good news is it looks like I caught everybody with a data error and has a fact for it. And I am running it again, and we'll see if I got everybody. I thought I left an error so it would show up on a report. The good news is it looks like I've identified possible duplicates. So these are, so I don't have the preferred fact. I'm going to select that again, and we'll see if there's, I know what the setting is. People to include. I'm going to include everybody. I know what the error was, and it's probably a good thing. And I'm going to filter out everybody in the data error report. I know the person who I selected probably has two data error reports. That's what the problem is. So data error report, okay. And I'm pretty sure that that was my problem. The person that I selected had more than one error in the data error report. I'm going to let this run. What this tells me is that I have identified everybody with at least a data error report. Now, I'm going to let it run so it completes, and it's complete. Now I'm going to go to a person, and I'm going to the tree workspace, and I'm going to filter in anybody who's got the data error report fact in use. So that's data error report exists, and I'm going to select OK. This tells me I have 600 to 700 people who have profiles that have a data error report. So I'm going to go down and select one, and I'm going to the person, and there is that data error report. Now, that's great, but I want to work on one data error report at a time. So what I have to do is to get this fact into the task list, the to-do list. So what I did is I bring up everybody who has, I'm going to do it right now. I am going to go back to the tree view. I'm going to filter in. I'm going to clear what's filtered, filter in anybody who has the data error report in the description, and that description contains that error message that I got from the data error report. So anybody who has that data error, now all values and alternate facts, because a person may have more than one data error report fact. And I click OK. And this should tell me how many people have this error message. And in fact, 47 people have that exact error message, and they are now filtered. For an example, who there was no sex given, and that's what the error report was. And it says baby Alden, and it came from a record. I have it cited, but the record did not have a sex, probably because it was a baby that died at birth. I can't fix that, and my task now is to get everybody with a data error report identified. So I take that exact error message and I create a task for that person. I use my clipboard to copy and paste when I work one error message at a time, so that the data fact, error report fact, is in my to-do list. Now I'm going to go to the plan workspace to show you where that shows up, because what I will do is work one data error report at a time. Now you see that I only have one item in the plan workspace, but I have filtered my tasks. Now what I'm going to do now is uncheck that and only look at my to-do list from the data error report. Now we have about 700 people profiles with data errors, and I expect this list to be somewhere around 822 tasks. Now, so those of the 700 people, I have 800 and some odd data error reports to deal with. Now, keep in mind that Family Tree Maker in a task list can sort by the top line task description. These are all alphabetic or order by task, or I can do it by sort by person. So, and here's that one that I identified a few minutes ago. So now I can go in and work the data error. What I have been doing is working one data error at a time. Like there's a couple that the data error messages are onesies and twosies. Once I've completed a data error report, let's say that I'm going to select, I'll select any of them. That's the data error report. And if I address it on the profile, I will put it in the low priority and mark it complete. So once I've worked the data error and resolve it, I'll show it complete and put it into low category. So you can see low category, low priority. I have a whole bunch that I've already completed. So if in fact I have completed it, then I can remove the data error report fact, and I will do that in the second version, the second part of this series. My point, I hope, is that I go to the publish workspace, I run the data error report, I use this errors to include, I work one at a time. I'm going to exclude all, and I think this is the one that I want to see if I have anybody whose age is greater than 120, but I need to select all individuals who have a data error report of that they're in my database. They're over 120 years old. If I double click on the name, I can edit it from here. Now, again, my task was identify everybody with a data error report, not to fix the data error report. I will fix the data error report from the task list. So I've identified that in my database, and the database says that that the person was born in 1761, and there's a citation, 1887, a citation. Look, I got that data from the same source because it's got the same citation. That means that there's something wrong with the data. Now, the reason why I don't work it, because I know that the only way that I can resolve this problem, this data error report, is to find the record or review the records that I already have. That's it. So, but that's a second task. I want to identify everybody who's got a data error. And the reason why I want to do that, and I'm going to pick somebody, let me get rid of the filter. I want to look at this person. If I don't have any data error report, which I don't, then I can move on because I don't have to look at a data error report. But let me find one that does. It's probably a bad one. Let me filter in. There we go. I already have a filter set up. So everybody here has a data error report. So if I find a record for Andrew Aldridge Chu, it says that there's a fact that says there's a data error report, but there's also a description. So I may have a person with a lot of data. Let me see if I have somebody with a lot of data. This person has some data, but I look down here and I see that I have a category in the data error report. I know what I did. Let me clear this filter. Let me filter in anybody who's got a data error report, period. So anybody who has it. So this should be my 700 people, which it did. So if I look at this person and I'm looking at data, I've got a whole bunch of data, but if I find a record, and he probably has a leaf, he does. If I find a record, then when I'm working that record for this profile, I have right in front of me that I've already got a data error entry here. There may be other entries, other tasks for him, but I know that in fact this fact, which is right here, there's no data in it. Now, there's no citation either, but there is a note. I have information. The problem is I did not record, first of all, the citation, nor I didn't have a citation, and I don't have any information in this should have his find the grave record number. So I can fix that. I can go to find a grave and find him and get that, in fact, the burial record right there that will have, in fact, his find a grave number. When I did this record, I did not fill in this fact. The data error report told me, and I can resolve that. When I find the error report, the find a grave memorial number, I fill it in, put a citation on it, and then I can clear that data error report fact, which I will not do at this time. In fact, I may use this as my example for my second report. My task that I've worked on all week is get this list of data error reports so that when I work on a profile, I know that the only way that I'm going to resolve the data error, and I believe in my working with other files, I want to know what information that I am missing that I need to look at more closely. So I did it again. I want to just reiterate, because 18 pages of data errors is a problem, but I worked each data error one at a time. I created a notepad file with the error report that I have checked and the error message that I get from it. This message is pasted in the data error report fact that I have created for everybody, or that I have created. I use the exact text of this potential error, and I then go into the people workspace, select those people with that data error report text. I filter in everybody with that text, and then I paste in the new task. I copy and paste that text. In fact, I will do that right now. There's the data error report. I'm copying it. I'm going to click new and paste it. And then I'm going to put it in to the data error report task list. This will end up with a duplicate, but I'll get rid of the duplicate right now. I find everybody with that data error report, and then I put in their task list what that data error report is, so that then when I'm ready to deal with, I have two ways of doing it. I can deal with one data error report at a time, or one person at a time, or most likely I will resolve it when I do the when I find a record for that person, and then I can recognize that they have a data error that I need to resolve. I will show you why I did that in a little bit, because, well, first of all, it's my work list. So now what? And that will be part 2, which I will demonstrate why I have done what I do and how I can clean it, and how I can double check to make sure that I did in fact clear that data error that Family Tree Maker believes that I have. I want to know where my errors are so that I can fix them, because I know that the only way I can fix them is with the record. Thank you very much, and have a great day.